Afternoon. How are you all doing this afternoon?
I'm doing amazing. How about you?
Well, I'm doing very well.
Also,
Great. So let me start. Let me start with you, briefly, Alex. Before we even go, into detail to talk about the bill and all of that, briefly, tell us how long have you been aware of your sexuality?
thank you so much, Karim. So I identify as a gay man, and um, when it comes to my sexuality as a gay man, I have always known from growing up that my sexual attraction is not towards the opposite sex, like I am made to known, but rather my sexuality is towards the same sex, right? And in this case, growing up is about attraction, right?
Yeah.
And if I want to also make it relatable to those who are listening, sexual attraction is such that when somebody identify as even a heterosexual or a straight person, that attraction doesn't come from it comes innate. You grow up knowing that you are sexually attracted to the opposite sex, and it is the same experience with somebody that identify
Talk of
as
the
a gay
nation.
person or a lesbian, and it is the same for also those who identify as even bisexual. So there are
Okay.
people who equally are attracted to both the same sex and then the opposite sex.
Okay.
That is from
Talk of
growing
the
up.
nation.
So
This
it
is
is,
what the
and of
nation
course, when it comes
needs.
to sexual attraction, too, there are those who act on their sexual attraction. So if you are a heterosexual person, you are either, if you're a guy, then you are with a lady, and if you are a lady, you are also with a guy, and it is the same experience when it also comes to individuals who identify as either gay or lesbian or bisexual. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Alikam, how about you?
I'm good.
Great.
Yeah. For me, whenever I'm asking this question, the first thing that comes to my mind is that at what point does a straight person know that they are straight?
Hmm.
At what point do you know that your sexuality is straightness?
Hmm.
In a kind of society we grew up,
Yeah.
we hardly would talk about sex, whether you are hetero, you are queer, and you are anything. You begin to explore and experiment things as you are growing, and through that you begin to feel and understand your body, because it has sexuality has to do with your body, the comfort, the attractions, and so for me, growing up, I think I was in my mid 20s before even I started having sexual relationships. And I wouldn't say, first of all, I want to make it clear that we also have to understand that when we are talking about sexuality and gender, we shouldn't be confusing them.
Hmm.
You know, this is actually one of the biggest problems of the Ghanaian community. So there are people whose sexuality do not overlap their gender identities. They subscribe, and also they have the same feeling for same sex, and yet their gender could be very different, or they have feelings for people of opposite sex and their gender is actually the opposite of what people would perceive in a very conservative society. And for me, growing up, it was very complex for me to even understand what I feel for people.
Yeah.
So I would say in high school was one of the most complicated situation for me, to be in a boarding house where I would feel very weird and uncomfortable to use a very common bathroom with at the time fellow boys.
Okay.
You know, because of the perception and the things that I have grown up with, knowing that I wasn't a boy enough, but yet I was trying to overcome that, so I became a very toxic masculine person.
Yeah.
You know, so that insecurity led me into very self-defense kind of embodiment
Talk
that
of
made
the
me very,
nation.
very toxic masculine
Okay.
person. So I didn't understand my sexuality and gender at that time.
Okay.
There was no conversation about it. We hardly would have spoken to our parents with that. So there was no conversation until I entered the university.
Yeah.
And then in studying and reading and getting more exposure to understand, it led me to begin to investigate myself. So I wasn't taught sexuality in the university, but my exposure to knowledge as people will go to university to study philosophy and other things, for me, I took advantage of that to go to do self-education and begin to investigate myself. The things I feel were they sins, because even masturbation at the time was a kind of, you feel very inferior and feel and sinful when you even masturbate, you know, and I wasn't even the type who would want to masturbate.
Yeah.
You know, so so for me, I wouldn't be able to identify at what point my sexuality began.
Okay.
But I can tell you at what point my gender identity actually came to life and an embodiment.
Okay. So it means that for someone like you, and based on what you're saying, yours more like came to you naturally. It wasn't because you were exposed to some abuse or, you know, peer pressure or anything of that sort. It was a natural process for you. Is that what you're saying?
For sure, yes, it's natural. And quickly, before we continue, I just want to say that gender identity and sexuality is not under any circumstance an influence of peer pressure.
Okay.
Any person whose gender and sexuality is influenced under that is rather someone who is being abused and being used, and just like heterosexuals, where a woman is not ready for sex, but men would give pressure and even intoxicate them or lure them in any other way to have sex with them, and yet they don't believe and they don't know that they have been raped. They see it as the norm. They just see it like it's okay to be forced by men. So if any boy or a male identifying person is being used by fellow man who is in more who is in power, that is not an influence of making the person a gay. That is rape, and that is an sexual abuse.
All right. Before I even come back to you again, Alex, let me still stick with Elikem. So what has life been for you ever since you identified, you know, this about yourself, and what has the general perception or what has the reaction been like, family, friends, you know, the community at large?
Well, just as we are experiencing now from, if I use the word ignorant, permit me, I have understood now that a lot of Ghanaian, even educated people, misunderstand ignorance as an insult. Ignorance just means that lack of information and knowledge. So yesterday I heard Ras Mubarak getting angry that they use ignorance for him. But I would use it again, that just as our ignorant members of parliament do not understand our feelings and our identity and our comforts, is the same way our families were battling with it. For me, when it happened or when everything started, the fear of my family was not about how they feel about me. It's about how the society will say about them. That was the problem. I remember very well my mom, actually not my biological mom, but that's my mom. She always will say that, how do you think the church will say about me as an elder in the church, that my child has transitioned? So this fear is actually ignorance. And this is perpetuated by people who are in power and who could have very much educate the citizens and the public, but rather misinforming them. So this is how it was for me, and I had to really leave home. Leaving home doesn't mean I was really sleeping on the street, because I was then also in the university.
Okay.
But I won't return home on several occasions because I wanted to have my privacy. Life in general in the Ghanaian society, I have been harassed by police in several instances.
Okay.
In the Ghanaian Kodoka International Airport, I would say maybe now I have people who understand me because I have passed there several times, so they know me. So now
it means that for you, you identify as a female.
I do say I identify as a transvata.
A transvata. Tell me more about that.
Yeah. The reason I decide to identify as a transvata is being a trans woman in Ghana, and in general, not only in Ghana, you find yourself in a kind of liminal body, and again in a liminal space, based on the social ideologies that were developed through colonial narratives and also religious narratives
Yeah.
that you are neither a man nor woman. So even within men community or male dominant community, you are being discriminated against, and women community you are discriminated against. So you find yourself trapped in between. So for me to be able to empower myself and embrace myself and be bold about the things I do and the person I am, I decided to call myself transvata. In that way, I am not seeking a validation from men or women. I'm not seeking validation from your president. I'm not seeking validation from For Harmony. I'm not seeking validation from any of the pastors or ministers. So that is how I identify as a transvata. However, an avatar is a kind of spiritual being that could take any form. So for me, calling myself a transvata is putting myself in that multiplicity and also infinite being of myself. So if tomorrow you see me different, that is me. I am that I am.
Wow. Listeners, this show is streaming live on Facebook on Class 91.3 FM, so you can join the conversation there and send your messages to us via WhatsApp on 0500,000 202. This is Talk of the Nation on Class 91.3 FM. This afternoon, we're having a conversation with members of the LGBTQI plus community. We want to get your take on issues surrounding the current bill that is making, waves that have been presented to Parliament as a draft. But then we're getting to know them better and why they are who they are now. Let me come to you now, Alex. Now, a major part of the conversation that's going around on social media when you meet people in town, they're talking about LGBTQI, is very much more limited to just sex or sexual intercourse, if I should put it that way. What do you make of this particular perception?
Yeah, I think people limit the LGBTQ community to sex because the information that they have been fed all throughout the years has been in the area of sex. And in this case, in a more demonic manner, right? So a lot of the information that people know about LGBTs are actually coming from people you say hate people or hate groups. And so if somebody hates you, and want to say something about you, obviously it is not going to be anything nice. You're just trying to find ways and means to put the information such that it will attract or recruit another person into hating you. And if we're going to be honest with ourselves in this country, you realize that when LGBT issues come, it is mostly being pushed by religious people, by politicians, and all the other people, and they sensationalize the issue, right? But then if we are going to be honest with ourselves, some way, somehow, we find ourselves as two consenting adults having sex in the privacy of our rooms, right? And this sex that we are having in the privacy of our room, I do not believe that it comes with any form of gender. If you are in the room and then you go to have sex with your partner and the idea of gender is there, then you are even losing the essence of sex. In the privacy of the room, I believe that it is the vulnerability that comes with each other. That's not when one will say, oh, I am the man, or I am the woman, so I want to call myself. It is a place of vulnerability. It's a place of loving each other and allowing yourself to know each other sexually, right? But that is beside the point. So people cannot deny the fact that when it comes to sex in the privacy of that room, gender plays a role there. It doesn't, right? But then when it comes to the conversation around LGBT issues, it has been dehumanized. Dehumanized in the sense that there are very dehumanizing words that the people use, right? And excuse me and permit me to say words like trumu trumu, trumu d4, those kind of words, right? Yeah. It sensationalizes people. It brings people's emotion to the point where they don't see the human factor in the person. Rather, the hate and the disgust that the person has is what is targeted towards the individual. And that's how come you realize that a lot of people are being abused on daily basis, to which this abuse are even perpetrated with a very high level of impunity. People beat other people up because of their perceived or known sexual orientation, and then they end up videoing the persons. As I said now, we have tons and tons and tons of videos that some Ghanaians actually have put in the laws into their own hands, and beat other people because they know or perceive them to be LGBTQ persons, right? So the conversation is that we have been dehumanized and be subjected to more, because where it's like, oh, and all those things, animals don't do. See, we've been dehumanized, and so they don't see the human factor in us. They don't see that the LGBTQ person is the ordinary Ghanaian. That is the doctor, that is the lawyer, that is the judge, that is the mason, the road construction person, the pure water seller, the everyday human, the mother, the father, the brother, the sister you love, the friend. Right? Sexuality is not written on anyone's face, such that one will think that it is okay to subject another person to an abuse and discrimination because he thinks the person is trumu D4, he's less than an animal because of their sexual orientation or their gender identity.
But what has the reaction of your family been like?
When it comes to my family, just like Va-Bene shared, right?
Yeah.
You know, when it comes to family always knows their family members.
Okay.
Right? People know. You know that your family member is different. Right? Right from growing up, you know that your brother, your sister, your sibling, your aunt, like they are different. Their way of dressing, their way of appearance, like everything they do are different. We know that, we recognize that. The mothers do, the fathers do, the brother, the sister, they do recognize all of these things, right? And so it gets to a point where when you finally want to come out to them, right? That, oh, listen, I mean, you've known that I'm different, right?
Yeah.
And that at this point, I want to share to you that my attraction is not towards the same sex, but towards the opposite sex. A lot of times, what the family worry is the fact that because LGBT has been demonized, they are also afraid that they are going to lose that privilege that they get within society, because people are going to discriminate against not just the person who has come out, but also the family members, right? And they are also afraid to lose that social capital of being associated with a family member who is gay or a lesbian or a transgender, because the human factor has been removed from there, right? That allows other people to think that, oh, and they say, your brother is also afraid to be pointed at or be said that, oh, you are the gay brother or something. But honestly, my family find it very difficult initially, but with a lot of education, they have really come to terms and understand that, listen, Alex, Kofi is the same Kofi you've always known. Right? My sexuality has been part of me all throughout this year. I never came out to you because I was afraid that I will be abused or discriminated against, even by you family members that are supposed to love me unconditionally, right? And that is what pushed me from letting you know the challenges that I was going through, the insults, the vilification, the dehumanizing experience that I was going through when growing up, right? And so I made them know all of these things and let them know that, listen, this is the same me. I have gone to the university. I am a researcher. My research is being done right here in Ghana, to which I'm providing services to ordinary Ghanaians. And so if you dehumanize me because of my sexuality, then you lose all of the benefits that I would have provided as a family member and as a Ghanaian to both the family and the society. So they have understood it from that angle, and I'm still playing my role and my responsibility as a human being to my family and to the society or this country.
All right, let me come to you, Va-Bene. So basically, based on the responses that I'm getting from both of you, it means that the general, challenge or the major challenge that you're facing out there is a matter of ignorance, right? The fact that people probably have not taken time to get to know you and get to know the stuff you do and why you are who you are and all of that. But then what role is your community playing in trying to educate people?
Yeah, so that's a very good question. You will remember that early this year they closed down the LGBTQ Right Ghana office.
All right.
That's one of the roles. Again, yesterday I heard some of the anti-gay MPs shouting that advocacy is actually going to recruit their children into homosexuality or into lesbian or into something or into trans person. However, I want to say that those spaces that we are creating is a way of educating the community and the society as a whole and at large to understand all these myths that are created around LGBTQ persons. However, again, let's go back into the past. In many other communities in Ghana, including the Nzimas and the Ashantis, queer people existed before the colonial masters arrived. I can give you a reference of the Agonwale Ajali marriage, which is by the Nzima. Men were actually marrying men. So those who are listening, do your research. Just Google Ajali marriage, and you will see it coming up.
Wow.
And in the Shanti kingdom, there were also male concubines.
Okay.
And aside that, the people who were serving the queen have to be people other than male and female. For the fear that if it's a woman serving the queen, that woman would end up poisoning the queen to marry the king. If it's a man, is going to impregnate the queen, and they will have how do you call those children? Yeah. So and this is why also Ashantis have this idea of only mothers know that. Yeah. So let's come back to that. So the ignorance or the erasure of the African tradition and Ashanti tradition and the Ewe tradition and Nzima tradition, I'm mentioning different tribes because we are thinking that Ghana has a culture and Ghana has a tradition. This is a myth. The idea of Ghanaian culture is again a Western ideology. Ghana never existed.
Okay.
After independence, several other tribes and ethnic groups came together to form a nation. Each and every tribe must be respected for their tradition and culture. We cannot use Western religion to govern a country that is formed by several other ethnic groups. So our associations and groups seek to educate the people around us.
But then if you're saying that the idea of the Ghanaian culture now is a Western idea, another argument that comes from people that belong to your community is that the whole LGBTQI thing is a Western idea. So why is it that we are not accepting it as a Ghanaian people?
Good. Let me just respond to that.
Sure.
I would firmly say the word LGBTQ plus is Euro-American academic language.
Okay.
Just as if we say president, is not Ghanaian language. So this is where the problem is coming from, and this is where the propaganda is happening. That instead of addressing the existence of the people, they are addressing the formation of the acronym.
Okay.
However, if I should even add to the acronym, I'm going to add W to it as women. Because this acronym actually seek to create solidarity and to create compassion and to create collective protection for group of people that have been discriminated against.
Okay.
So women in Ghana and across the world are part of groups that are being discriminated against. Ghana is always priding that we are creating women equality. Ghanaians think that putting 2 women and 2 men in an office means equality. That is not equality. That is pretentious gathering.
I see.
So for me, if we are talking about equality, if you look at this bill that is being passed or is being proposed, and all the advocacy against LGBTQ people, how many women are speaking? You know, patriarchy is what is killing us. Patriarchy is what is killing us. I have even heard one of the former member of parliament who proposed Sharia law in Ghana. Is that not an insanity at this age? And also when LGBTQ office was closed down, I heard some learned people saying that it's the fault of educating women. How do you speak that ill? So I would even say women are part of groups that are being discriminated against, and of course we are sitting down in Ghana here. We don't know how the so-called Western that we are even pushing away in the issues of LGBTQ. They were the same people who were fighting for what? Feminism, women rights, and there were several waves of feminist movements. Until now, we are still having them.
Okay, Va-Bene, there's also a certain school of thought that thinks that I mean, anyone who says he's gay or lesbian or bi or transgender, is insane. People are saying that you guys have a mental problem, and so you need to be checked. There are others who are also saying that you guys are doing it for money. There are also others who say that, Charlie, it's a spiritual thing. It's evil. You're cursed.
I will pick it quickly from there.
Yes.
If it was a spiritual thing, I would have been healed long ago.
Okay.
My family,
Interesting.
they prayed for me.
Yeah.
They exorcised me. Churches prayed for me. I remember even my SHS, then it was SSS. My SSS group created a poster just this year, pray for Va-Bene. And they organized fasting and prayer for me. Whether they literally pray or not, I don't know. But they created a poster to pray for me. All these prayers never work. The more they pray for me, the more gay I become. The more they fast for me, the more trans I become. Sometimes, for me, even when I hold a Bible, then I become Annie. So for me, yes. So there is nothing that Bible or Christian God or God could do for me in terms of my identity. Secondly, if it is for the money, by now I'll be ruling Ghana. Then Akufo-Addo would have become gay if it is for money. Yes, I said it before that if homosexuality actually becomes economic power, all ministers of this country will become homosexual. Because that is all it is.
But why do you think that a president would become gay if it were for money?
Good. Because, let me just quickly go there.
Yes.
The president, His Excellency Akufo-Addo, schooled in England.
Okay.
Right? He wouldn't deny that he never saw gay or lesbian or LGBTQ person throughout his stay and life in England. So if they say we are recruiting people in Ghana, they would have recruited him long ago.
Oh, really?
Unless he's not telling us that he's gay.
Well, the president is an African. He's Ghanaian. He believes in the Ghanaian cultural values. He believes in the principles and ethics of the Ghanaian people. Right?
Good.
And the majority of the Ghanaian people are not in support of the LGBTQI community. Well, as president, he's supposed to represent the interests of the people.
I believe that.
Do you still think that he would go ahead to take money, just because of the fact that he's schooled in the UK?
But if that becomes the economic power, I am sure if we can go for 20 billion or 20 million from gay communities, from countries that actually are exercising this freedom and liberation, if that money can be transformed into homosexuality,
I see.
Then I am very sure that we will go for it.
All right.
However, I want to state here that I am an artist, a practicing artist, international artist.
Okay.
And I am using my funding, my money, to take care of people who are not even LGBTQ persons. I am sponsoring and helping people not even from the LGBT community.
Right.
That alone proves that we don't recruit people. And people cannot be recruited into gender identity or sexuality. This is again why I said if he's schooled in England, whether he was a Ghanaian or African or whatsoever, an Ashanti, schooling in England is possible to be recruited if it was a recruitment.
All right, point well noted. Listeners, viewers, this is Talk of the Nation on Class 91.3 FM. This afternoon we are discussing, we're having a conversation around the LGBTQI plus bill, draft that has been taken to Parliament. I have with me in the studio Va-Bene Fiachi, who is an artist and a board member of the LGBTQI plus Ghana. And we also have with us in the studio this afternoon Alex Donkor, who is also a member of the community. We've had their take on what life has been for them. They've taken us through what this means for them. Now I want us to delve into the conversation proper, talk about the bill and what this bill means to them. I also have joining us this afternoon via Zoom Kwabena Boateng, Angela Adachi, and also the LGBT rights Ghana have also sent a representative to join us via Zoom this afternoon to have this particular conversation. But let me come to you quickly, Alex. I'm sure you've gone through the bill.
Yeah, I've seen it.
What does this bill mean to you generally as a member of the LGBT community?
See, I wouldn't even want to even limit it to limit it in the sense that, like, or maybe say that as a member of the LGBTQ community, right?
Okay.
I want to even say that as a Ghanaian, what does this bill mean to me as a Ghanaian, right? And I'm holding it right here, right? I have gone through it. I haven't gone through it totally, but I'm around page 16 of this bill, and it is a bill, and I've been saying it all this while, and I'm still saying it. This bill is horrifying and incredibly absurd, right? It is horrifying and incredibly absurd in the sense that they name the bill Promotion of Proper Human Sexual Rights and Ghanaian Family Values. But honestly, this bill is not any Ghanaian bill.
Talk of the nation.
And I'm saying this because these are some of the documents by the American extremist group. Right? When I say American extremist group, I mean groups like the KKK and the World Congress of Families. These are families that object to black people, that object to Islamic people. As a matter of fact, they object to anything that is white, or that or they believe in white supremacy. And this idea, when you look at the American history, has been fought and is being rejected.
But if
all
they believe in white supremacy, right? I mean, the argument out there is that this whole act is a white thing, is a Western thing. Why then would they be against it?
No, it is not a Western thing. It is not a Western thing in the sense that when you look at sexuality is innate.
Okay.
Right? Sexuality is innate. Nobody is born choosing their sexuality. Everybody grew up knowing their sexuality. And if you're being honest with yourself, when you were heterosexual, you grew up knowing that you were attracted to the opposite sex.
Okay.
It's the same for other sexual orientations, right? But what I'm saying is that, so, like you mentioned, when it comes to the LGBTQIA, those are acronyms, those are words, just like in English, president, this, and that. But then within these acronyms are human beings or individuals, and we need to respect that as people. That you can forget about the acronyms, but then let's talk about the human being or the human person.
No problem. So let's. I want us to go back into the bill.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Possibly you can touch on specifics in there that you think, and then quickly I'll come back to Zoom and engage our guests.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm saying that this bill, I would describe this bill as a hate bill, right? And like I'm saying earlier, this is American far-right or extremist groups' bill. They realize that the idea of extremism is being rejected in places like the US, and so they are looking for new breeding grounds to export these hates to. And they realize that countries like Uganda, Nigeria, and Ghana are countries that you would describe as very conservative, right? And so they believe that if they bring bills like this to those countries, it will be able to sail through. That is also because when we mention issues of LGBT, it is sensationalized in this country, and we cannot deny that fact. And so once they say that, oh, the bill is about criminalizing LGBT, then we will get a lot of Ghanaians to support it. But when you read the bill into details, you realize that it is not just targeting LGBTQ persons alone. This bill is targeting the way people dress. Right? They say if you were a guy or a man, and then you dress in a way that they think or suspect that it is different from your gender, then it is going to arrest you. So we see on TikToks all the time, right? There are sticks that come out where guys even cross-dress to do sticks and all of that, to which we all look at it and laugh about it. This bill is going to criminalize things like that. It is also saying that if you are a woman and then you put on male clothes, or your fashion sense is to wear male clothes, then this bill is going to criminalize you. This bill is criminalizing sex toys. And let's be honest with ourselves. When it comes to sex is complex. There are people who use toys to also enhance their sexual pleasure with their partners. This bill clearly is criminalizing sex toys or using sex toys as part of your sexual engagement. It is also criminalizing even oral sex. And in this case, let me just bring it down to the Ghanaian meaning. It is criminalizing blowjob. It doesn't matter whether you are homosexual or heterosexual or bisexual. It is criminalizing blowjob. So if people think that this bill is just targeting LGBTQ persons alone, then they are mistaken. They better go and read that 36-page document. It is targeting every Ghanaian. And that is also a way, and like I said earlier, this bill, they've corrupted some members of parliament, right? They've influenced them with money and told them, come to your country and pass this bill. And it is also a way of infiltrating into our laws and pushing hate agenda into our laws using some members of parliament.
No problem. I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you on that, Alex. I want to quickly cross over to Zoom to engage with some of our discussants on Zoom right now. So let me start with you, Kwabena Watson. Good afternoon, my brother. How are you doing today? I'm doing very well, Kwabena. Kwabena, you've gone through the bill, have you? What's your take on the bill? Kwabena, could you please speak up for us? Your voice is a bit down. Hello? I cannot hear you clearly, and I'm probably sure our listeners have the same challenge as well. So let's try and rectify this technical issue, and then we'll come back to you again. So let me come to you, Va-Bene. I mean, Alex has spoken about the issues he's identified in the bill and all of that. The bill is still at a draft stage in Parliament. As it stands now, we are not certain if it's going to be passed or not. Do you intend, making contributions to this particular bill?
Wow, that's a very difficult question. If I would contribute to this bill, then that is when I can actually be diagnosed as being insane.
Okay.
To contribute to this bill.
Why do you say that?
Yes, because this bill should just be scrapped outright. There shouldn't be any consideration of an amendment to this bill. There shouldn't be any consideration. First of all, this bill is a decoy.
Okay.
This bill has nothing at heart of Ghanaian politicians saying that they want to protect their children from being recruited by LGBTQ people. That is why when you read the memorandum, that's one of the things they stated, to protect their children from being recruited. However, you would observe that as soon as Fix the Country hashtag begin to go out, then this bill actually became a concern. Why do you think so? Because they want to divide the country. They want to create diversion so that people will concentrate on attacking LGBTQ persons than demanding for accountability from the government. So this is why I just think that this bill has nothing actually to offer Ghanaians. Secondly, if this bill, whether amended or not amended, is passed in this country, Ghana will bleed. Ghana will bleed more than before the fight they fought for independence. Because you and I here will become equal alleged persons.
All right, let me come back to Zoom and engage with our discussants on the Kwabena. Can you? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me now?
Great, I can hear you now, loud and clear. So, Kwabena, what's your take on the bill? Briefly, we are running out of time.
Yeah, I mean, I think the bill is just a bill in its temporary stages, and I think it's an opportunity for the LGBT community to engage with the politicians and the stakeholders. As I read the bill, it seems as if there was a comprehensive consultation from the House of Chiefs, the Catholic Bishops' Council, and all the other stakeholders that embody the lawmaking in our country. So I think it's an opportunity for that community to also engage and maybe provide more education and awareness about what they represent and their counter proposals and petitions to refine that bill into something that will be taken into consideration the fundamental human rights of everyone. But I also see some legitimate concerns in the bill as well. So I think there's a need for a broader consultation and conversation with the community and the government.
All right, let me come to you, Angela. Angela, what's your take?
Good afternoon, everyone. So with regards to the bill, I think that I agree with what everyone says. we shouldn't try to negotiate any form of amendment. Rather, I would like to plead on the humanist side of Ghanaians to kindly support and consider their stance on this issue. Because the reason why there is so much anger and hatred towards the community is because of the misinformation going around. I think Ghanaians should take a step back and actually listen to what everyone is saying. There is no profit for us if we plan to destroy our country. We are all Ghanaians. We love our country. We would appreciate it, and it would even benefit us a lot if, as Ghanaians, we live in a country that protects us and that seeks our psychosocial welfare. And so we are not doing this because there is some agenda that we want to bring evil onto Ghana or curse Ghana or anything that I hear going on. Rather, we are trying to create awareness and to let Ghanaians appreciate and understand the need for diversity and to understand that sexuality is diverse. There is evidence that supports it. There is academic data that supports it. And we should also try as much as possible to move away from the usual rhetoric of spirituality and reasons based on religious, excuses. Those are not rooted in facts. These are not facts. These are personal beliefs. And it doesn't mean that these reasons that they give are true. And then again, there are several evidences. There is this popular book, I'm sure everyone now knows the book, Boy Wives and Female Husbands. I think the first speaker made some references with what the book was about. And it detailed archaeological evidence of homosexual behavior and activity in the area that we know as Ghana now, pre-colonial. And so what we are touting as Ghanaian values, Ghanaian cultural values, these are remnants of colonialism, remnants of Christian, doctrines and Islamic, ideas and values. These are not inherently Ghanaian or African values, okay? And so people need to take a step back. Not everybody is Christian. Not everybody is Muslim. Not everybody is traditionalist. We are in an age where there is so much information and there is so much knowledge. We are in the age of internet where with just a click of a button, you can disseminate information to everywhere. And so it doesn't help us if in our country, we are not, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. Please go on.
Yes, it doesn't help us that the country that we belong to, people cannot live and exist in an environment where their peace of mind is guaranteed. How can you persecute someone based on their dressing? There are so many evidences that prove how members of this community are abused daily. Some time back, there was this video where a guy was grabbed that he was gay and he was stripped naked.
We just lost Angela on Zoom, so I'm going to come back in studio, but then we're going to open the phone lines briefly so you can phone in and let's hear your comments on the discussion that we are having. The number to call is 0302 20 80 80, 0302 20 80 80. But then let me come back again in studio and have a conversation with my Va-Bene. You want to respond?
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
So I want to really quickly address that part, the reason why the bill shouldn't even be tolerated. If there should be any bill in this country in relation to LGBTQ, it should be a bill that protects the rights of the people. It should be a bill that criminalizes violence against them. It should be a bill that is seeking for health, equality, and economic equality for the people. Now, if we are talking about anything in the bill, they kept mentioning children. Pedophilia is not about LGBTQ people. There are a lot of children who are being abused in heterosexual homes. We are not looking at that. We are not talking about rape cases in Ghana. You know, I think you will come to religious part. When you come, I'll tell you something over there. But we are not talking about the rape cases over there. And we are talking about two consenting adults who fall in love or want to love each other. That is our problem now we are dealing with. So the bill actually doesn't make any sense to this country. However, if we look at Uganda and we look at even America, where the WCF is coming from, the Salem witch hunting, you know, the moment you pass a law like this, they think that they make provision that, oh, anyone who beats LGBTQ person will go to jail for 3 years. That won't work. The moment you actually pass a law like this, you are legitimizing violence against the marginalized group. Because even now that the current law doesn't it make provision against violence? Doesn't it make provision against abuse? But yet people have been abused and nobody's talking about it. So if we actually pass this law, what will happen is that you will be sitting in this studio over here, and I'll come and say that you are gay. There's no way you can prove that you are not a gay. I'll come and say that you seduce me as a gay. There's no way you can prove that. That is what happened at the witch during the witch hunting in Salem. And this, if you read the Crucible, you get an idea of it. Uganda, when they passed the law, 2014, Museveni signed the law. It was passed 2013. He signed in 2014. As soon as he signed, over 200 people were listed that day as gays. People have to flee.
I'll come back to you, Va-Bene. Let me quickly go to the phone line so we can have a conversation with our listeners. But I'd like to ask our listeners, respectively, please be very decorous with your comments, respectfully. Thank you very much. 0302 20 88. This is Talk of the Nation. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, afternoon.
Yes, your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Senyo from Tema.
Senyo, let's hear you.
Yeah. You see, what I only want to talk about this thing is that, you know, in animal society, this thing doesn't happen in animal society. And then we are taking this thing into a human society. How are we understanding this thing? And a bill will be passed against this thing, and people will be fighting against it. The bill should be passed. And they should continue to do it.
Talk of the Nation.
All right, thank you very much. 0302 20 88. This is Talk of the Nation on Class 91.3, brought to you by Zoe Fertility and Alternative Medical Center. Hello, good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Kindly lower the volume on your radio set for us, please. Hello? Yes, good afternoon. Your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Victor, calling from Ashama.
30 seconds, Victor.
Until you become...
Victor, please lower the volume on your set, else I may be forced to hang up on you, please.
Hello?
Yes, hello. Great.
Until you become a human being, you will by all means go against nature.
Talk of the Nation.
When you become known to nature, all these things you will understand. Ghanaians, we lack reading. We should read and know beyond religiosity. We should rather be spiritual and stop being religious. Bye-bye.
All right, thank you very much. Talk of the Nation brought to you by Zoe Fertility and Alternative Medical Center. 0302 20 88 is the number to call. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Holy.
All right, let's hear you, Romeo.
I'm calling from Ashama.
Let's hear you, my brother.
In fact, you are doing good.
Thank you, sir.
God bless you.
Bless you too.
One thing I want to say is, we are moving as human beings, are we from men's stomach or women's stomach? Why by this will come? Are they going to bring forth children? Because I saw a picture of an anus for a man. The whole thing be like, I cannot describe it. And that person, when he's going to toilet, I believe he will not stress up. You will just be coming out just like that. But what is the use?
All right, thank you very much. 0302 20 80 80. Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, afternoon.
Yes, sir. Name and where you're calling from.
Yeah, this is Paul from Apollonia.
All right, let's hear you.
There is a question I want to ask. If these people are in the world to also contribute to something or to build up the population, or they are just need to come and pass? Because when you think about all these things, they themselves, their explanation and all those things they are giving.
Okay.
Why we need to understand them. But the question is, if your mother and your father have done it this way, will you also come up?
All right, thank you. Thank you. 0302 20 80 80. Please make your comments very direct, very straight to the point. You have just 30 seconds when you phone in so that we can have more callers call in. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, your name and where you're calling from.
Yeah, my name is Emmanuel, calling from Nongwa.
Emmanuel, 30 seconds. 30 seconds.
Yes, I just have a question for LGBTQ member in your studio.
Okay.
Nobody do anything without any profit. They should tell us exactly what did they gain from being a member of LGBTQ.
All right, thank you very much. 0302 20 80 80. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, your name and where you're calling from.
I'm Kojo. I'm calling from Dodowa.
Let's hear you, Kojo from Dodowa.
Yes, quickly, I just want to make a few things clear.
Yes, sir.
Those MPs, those are our Ghana big men that are pushing the law to make it possible and all that.
Yeah.
They travel out, right? Now, when they travel out, they mingle with a lot of these white men doing their own thing. Sometimes they even see them doing their own thing in the parks. Do they go and tell them, no, stop, it's against my culture?
well,
now,
that's not their jurisdiction.
Let me also make a few things clear.
Yeah.
Most of the people that are saying, let's push this, if you gather all the LGBT people here in Ghana, you burn them, you kill them, and do whatever you want, more will be born.
All right, thank you very much. 0302 20 80 80. Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yes, sir. Name and where you're calling from.
My name is Basil. I'm calling from Bediaku.
Oh, let's hear you, my brother.
Okay. Chief, for me alone, if I were to be in this country, this will not happen in this country. You see, and
what will not happen?
Because this thing is not, it will not even have a name. This gazing of this thing is going on. It will not even happen. So it's all surprising. I don't agree with this.
All right, thank you very much. 0302 20 80 80. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'm Florence from Ada.
All right, Florence, let's hear you.
You see, this thing, God don't like it, though. Our God, He don't like this. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Florence. 0302 20 80 80. Hello, good afternoon.
Afternoon. This is Robin Hood Adenta.
Robin, let's go.
Yeah, I just want to ask some few harmless questions.
Okay.
My first question to the man in the studio there, presenting the gay community.
Okay.
I would like to ask whether their relationship is for sexual enjoyment, procreation, or any other benefit that I don't know.
All right. I'm sure they've noted down your question. They'll respond to it.
Yeah, but I will finish.
Okay, go on.
Because I know that I am from an animal. And I rear goats. I've never seen any male goat moving towards a male goat. So I consider them as animals. Yeah, because...
Quite unfortunate comment there. I would not take that on this platform. I made it clear that you should please make your comments very decorous and respectful, please. This show is brought to you by Zoe Fertility and Alternative Medical Center. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir. Name and where you're calling from.
Citizen Ivy, calling from East Legon.
Isaac, 30 seconds.
Please, I don't understand why you people should even entertain these people into the city. You know something? There's a lot of planets on this earth, and they can move out from this our planet to what should I say? To practice such things over there. I don't understand. Why should we even allow them to studio discuss about all these things?
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Isaac. 0302 20 80 80. This show is streaming live on Facebook at Cloud 91.3 FM, so you can go there right now and have a feel of the show on Facebook. You can also send your messages via WhatsApp on 0500,000 202. Talk of the Nation brought to you by Zoe Fertility and Alternative Medical Center. Hello, good afternoon. We lost that caller there. Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yes, your name and where you're calling from?
I'm Kojo calling from Accra.
Let's hear you, Kojo.
Okay, great. So one thing I want to say is that Ghanaians should ask our members of parliament, the 8 MPs who are pushing for this bill, that what is the affiliation with the World Congress of Families?
Okay.
And what benefits have they gotten from them? The honest truth is that this bill was not drafted by these 8 MPs. It was drafted by Moses Amweni's Coalition for Proper Human Sexual Rights and Family Values, with support from this World Congress of Families. When they held their conference in Ghana in 2019, that was when they started pushing for this bill. They have pushed for a bill in Uganda. They were successful. They have pushed for a bill in Nigeria. They were successful.
All right, thank you very much. 0302 20 80 80. Talk of the Nation brought to you by Zoe Fertility and Alternative Medical Center. Hello, good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Yes, your name and where you're calling from?
Yeah, I'm Josiah, calling from Shah Hills.
Let's hear you, Josiah, from Shah Hills.
What I just want to simply say is that humans are already enjoying their right. They don't have any problem. So I don't know which people are fighting for a right. Humans created in the image of God. Yes, they are already enjoying their right. So I don't know where other people are fighting for their rights. I don't know whether they are outside of the human race or they are also part of it. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. 0302 20 80 80. This is Talk of the Nation on Class 91.3. Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, John calling from Kaswa.
Let's hear you, John. 30 seconds.
Yeah. Bro, there are better problems to discuss in Ghana. If somebody says they want to become a gay, what is the rest people's problem? With fuel increase every day, we are losing jobs. Government is taking coronavirus money to feed his family. We won't talk about that. Because they're ranting like he good. Please, Charlie, they should leave these people to do their things.
All right, thank you very much, John. 0302 20 80 80. Hello, good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Yes, your name and where you're calling from?
Yeah, I'm Ajua calling from Kwashiman.
All right, let's hear you, Ajua.
You see, one member of your panelists just said that the prayer, whatever, the class people tried to pray for him, organize some all night and all that, and it didn't work. Even God understands that it will not change. He is very wrong. He is very wrong. They are people. They are created by God. And we love them. But the problem is they should recognize that they have a problem. God didn't create any woman to feel for woman. There's a slight mistake which can be corrected by the love of family. So they shouldn't accept their situation. That is how they are.
All right, thank you very much. 0302 20 80 80. This is Talk of the Nation on Class 91.3, brought to you by Zoe Fertility and Alternative Medical Center. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Tessa. I'm calling from Akenya.
All right, let's take it away. 30 seconds.
Yeah, please, what I want to say is that you should allow the callers to bring their voice so that you know the real thing that the Ghanaians want to say. But if they want to try to speak against, then you want to tell them what to be saying.
No, I give callers 30 seconds. So when I give you your time and it's up, I have to cut you because there are other people on the line. Thank you so much. 0302 20 80 80. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello.
Yes, your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Kwame, calling from Ashana.
Kwame, 30 seconds.
Talk of the Nation.
From the beginning, God made us male and female. God didn't make us male. He made us male and female. So I don't know, even in the traditional way, no man sleep with a man. So I don't know where these people from. So they should go and look for where they from, and they should go. We don't need them in Ghana.
All right, thank you very much. 0302 20 80 80. Talk of the Nation is brought to you by Zoe Fertility and Alternative Medical Center. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, your name and where you're calling from?
I'm Amle from Alajo.
All right, let's hear you.
One of your panelists said they are discriminating against women. Who is discriminating against who? Nobody asks any woman to do this or not to do this.
Okay.
They are empowering us to go high So they should take women out of this and do their own thing. That's abomination thing. They should do it on their own. They shouldn't add women to it. We are not part of them. Nobody is discriminated against us.
All right, thank you very much. I'm going to pick 3 more callers. We'll take a breather and then come back and conclude with the discussion. 0302 20 80 80. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello.
Yes, good afternoon. Your name and where you're calling from?
From East Legon.
All right, let's hear you. 30 seconds.
Thank you very much. Wonderful program by all stand up.
Thank you, sir.
I suggest that next time, kindly bring somebody who is a pro-life in order to advance their arguments as well.
Okay.
In addition to that, I've followed the National Coalition for Proper Human Sexual Rights and Family Values for some time now. That is formed when group. And I can say on authority that they have no financial alliance, nor any alliance with World Congress of Families, which was being led by Sharon Slater in the U.S.
Yeah.
So, Alex and his people should never, I heard one last today also mention the things. I don't know where they got that session from, but I'm telling them that the National Coalition has no alliance with the World Congress of Families or any other associates outside Ghana.
All right, thank you very much.
Family.
All right, 0302 20 80 80. I'm going to pick 2 more calls and then, hello, good afternoon.
Afternoon, I'm David calling from Sharma.
David, kindly lower the volume on your radio for me. Okay. All right, great. 30 seconds.
Please, you see what these our guys are doing around? You know, sometimes we educate ourselves or we hear ready to hear better things to promote our life. And when we hear these things, we cannot ask a month. What benefit did we get from these things? You know, when you do some things, you do it because of the benefit that you do the thing.
Yeah.
Things that they are talking about, there's no benefit. And I don't think these things should be, we don't have to allow them. We have to keep them from doing this nonsense. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I'm going to pick my last caller and then we'll close the phone lines, take a breather and then come back in studio for the concluding remarks of our guests. Hello, good afternoon.
Marian, I'm calling from the
Marian, kindly speak up for us.
Pardon?
All right, yes, I wanted you to speak up. You sounded a bit low. 30 seconds. Take it away.
Okay, I actually don't understand the reason why people are going hard on these guys because, and some even went to the extent of comparing them to animals, saying they haven't seen a male animal with a male animal, but have they seen a male animal with a phone before? But they're called. So they can't be comparing human beings to animals. That's how they were created. So what should they do about it? We should accept them. I don't have any problem with anybody. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for your comments. Really do appreciate your time with us, callers. This is Talk of the Nation on Class 91.3 FM. We're going to take a breather, and then when we come back, we'll continue with the discussion in studio.
Of the LGBTQI plus released to influence of people, but definitely will legislate to, as we said, ensure that our culture and traditions are not violated. That is something we see as an abomination. It is something that we abhor, and we continue to go according to our culture. We definitely will not want to go to impose on them something like we will not do that. And I don't think that what you're doing is a matter of advocacy, and we need to be clear. Like you have done today, we have to be clear on how we put across our message. Not to violate the human right of any person. That is not the purpose of the legislation.
The time is exactly 3:10 p.m. This is Talk of the Nation on Class 91.3 FM. This afternoon we are having a conversation with members of the LGBTQI community. We're trying to get their take on the draft bill that has been put before Parliament. It's been a very interesting conversation so far. What's the state of your mental health? What's the state of your health? Do you have a case of male or female infertility? Or you've been told that you have a low sperm count? Or you have a prostate problem? Are you a lady suffering from abnormal menstrual problems? Then never worry again, because Zoe Fertility and Alternative Medical Center has the answers to all your health needs. At Zoe, we treat all kinds of health problems, including erectile dysfunction. Zoe Fertility Center has a state-of-the-art laboratory and an ultrasound scan services available. There's also the total body scan, which scans all your organs in 5 minutes. Our pharmacy is well stocked with good and highly efficacious natural medicines, all without side effects.
Talk of the nation.
You can locate Zoe Fertility and Alternative Medical Center at the Adenta new site behind CAF International School opposite Mechanical Lloyd on the Adenta Ebri Road. Or at Donkor, you can locate them at the Nico Lizzie Hotel behind International Needs at Donkor Terrazzo. Call Zoe on 0205 363 614 or 0243 239 534. Zoe Fertility and Alternative Medical Center. Excellent healthcare is our hallmark. So I'm going to quickly come in studio to get the final take. Give our guests in studio an opportunity to respond to the callers. But even before I do that, a lot of our callers and texters want to know if you both are married. And if you are, procreation. What are you going to do about that?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Kareem. So, with regards to procreation, right? The fact that somebody falls within the LGBTQ community doesn't mean the person is impotent. Let's clarify the two. There are LGBTQ persons who have children. Some even have grandchildren.
Okay.
Childbirth is a choice. And let not Ghanaians be so obsessed with unborn children, because we already have enough children to which some are even lying on the streets of Accra and all these other places. If we are so concerned about children and the health and the life of children, how about we start treating well those who are already existing and whose life are even basic need they are not able to access? Let's concentrate on those ones and not concentrate on people who haven't given birth yet. Childbirth is a choice, and if an LGBTQ person wants to have a child, we are in the 21st century. There is so many means to which one can give birth. It doesn't necessarily mean that the person has to go and have a sexual intercourse to give birth. So the whole point is that let's progress as a community. There is a lot of knowledge that abounds. Let's not limit ourselves to the knowledge that we've been fed with. Let's open ourselves and learn more, and so that we can grow together as a society. There is one other caller who mentioned the fact that there is a picture or a video he saw of somebody's anus and all of that. Listen, people are sick, and we've seen, and sometimes when we're on social media and stuff, we see videos of people who are sick in some way somehow, to which sometimes when you look at the video, it is very deplorable. And so let's not use somebody's sickness as the basis to attack LGBTQ persons. If somebody is sick, let's encourage the person to go to hospital and seek for a health redress, and not use that to attack other communities. Because I identify as a gay man. Would you associate that picture with me? No. Right? We are all individuals, and let's separate individuals and not clump everybody into one and say, because you've seen a picture of somebody who is sick, it means that every other person is sick. That would be a hasty generalization and an unfortunate way of targeting a community. One other thing that people mentioned was the fact that animals do not do this and all of that. Honestly, how well do some of these people know about when we come nature? Right? Is it the fact that because you have seen something, it means that is the conclusion to it? When it comes to research and findings, you realize that even within animals, there is still the manifestation of homosexuality even within animals. And the evidence is that they can Google it. Even it's a Google click away. If you Google, you will see photos and images of even same-sex or animals having same-sex relationship and all of that in a way, right? Not relationship, but animals having a certain same-sex interactions and all of that. But that is besides the point. Now, what I realize is that some people have put in the community, and I keep saying this, in a very dehumanizing manner, right? So which they want to even associate the idea of, oh, they're not animals, they should get out of this country, we are a Christian nation and all of that. That is discriminatory, and that is what we are talking about. The fact that some people think that they are okay to discriminate against other Ghanaians because of their sexual orientation and gender identity. We should not encourage that as a community and as a society.
All right, thank you very much, Alex. Let me quickly come to Va-Bene. On Va-Bene, what are your concluding remarks? What responses do you have to the issues?
It's very disheartening listening to some of the audience. I just feel like Ghana is going back 100 years backwards because we are lacking education. I think most of us are going for degrees in the universities and schools than to acquire knowledge and wisdom. When I hear people comparing LGBTQ people to animals, I think it's just so problematic, and also it's just because people are so archaic. Animals don't go to school, as far as I also know. Animals don't go to church, as far as I also know. Animals don't create a member of parliament, as far as I also know. So when we are comparing human beings to animals, then we are not looking at what are the things that human beings do that are better than animals. So we can't look at sexuality and be comparing LGBTQ people to animals. I've never been to Animal Kingdom, so I don't know the things they do. Perhaps they even have schools, they have churches, they have gods. I don't know it. So you cannot just look at sexuality and just quickly be able to like compare us to that. However, I want to come back to the point that some of these anti-gay people are very perverse. They are so perverse in a way that they are obsessed with anal imaginations. It's so much when you listen to a lot of gay anti-gay persons, they are either screening gay pornography and showing. I listened to For Amoni talking about people eating faces and the rest. You know, they are so obsessed, and that tells you that the reason why people are homophobic is that they have something in them and they are afraid to manifest that. So they have something in them. They are afraid for the manifestation of that thing. So they just want to keep away. If you are too straight and very rigid, there is no way you'll be afraid of a gay person in your life. You know, because you know you'll not be attracted to that. Why wouldn't I be afraid of a straight person or a cis person?
All right, Va-Bene, I'll come back to you. But I have via Zoom Mr. Mo, who is the communication director of the LGBT Rights Ghana. I want to get his take on the issues briefly. Good afternoon, sir. How are you doing today?
1.3 FM.
Your voice sounds a bit down. Hello? I have a challenge hearing you. Hello? Your voice sounds very much low. I don't know what the problem is, but it does not look like it's coming from our end. So let's see if we can connect with you again. But let me quickly just come back in studio so we can conclude with. Okay. Angela, do we still have Angela? Hello, Angela. Let's try with Angela. Hello. Okay, yes. The network is terrible. But let me just come back and then conclude with Va-Bene. Va-Bene in just about 30 seconds, please.
Good. So in 30 seconds, what I will say is that the obsession of anti-gay people is the fear that they themselves have for the things they feel for people. This is why. So you just pay attention and listen to all the anti-gay persons. They are so much obsessed with anal sex. However, please permit me to say that the memorandum reference the article 29, section 104 as a natural canal knowledge. That is so problematic. It never talk about gay relationship.
All right.
It's so general.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much to my discussants in the studio and the discussants who joined me via Zoom today. It's been a very interesting conversation trying to get the official take of members of the LGBTQI community on the draft bill that has been taken to Parliament. Obviously, as the days go, we would know the state of the bill, and as time goes on, we would have this conversation and many more of these conversations again. It's been talk of the nation on Class 91.3 FM. Very big thank you to the management of Class FM for giving young people of this country an opportunity to air their views. Big thank you to my production team headed by Mr. Robert Israel. I choose to call him MRI. Thank you to Nima, Janice, Laura, Kofi, Emmanuel, Akoto, Bevelin.